What is going on, everyone? This Houston Texans team got better, and I think Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans added 4 to 5 starters immediately just in these past couple days. Now, this free agency wasn't one that we were expecting. We were expecting a somewhat flashy, go out, get out there, get the big names, throw out the money, throw out the long-term deals. The Houston Texans didn't throw out there a deal that was longer than 2 years. If you go back to Nick Caserio's press conference, he loves to say, I see things in 2-year increments. So you could see why he gave out these short-term contracts. But nonetheless, with the trades you made and with the free agents that you brought in, this Houston Texans team got better. You didn't overpay, right? You didn't overtrade. You didn't overspend some money for. The only guy you really overpaid for was Sheldon Rankings, who got $2 million more than what he was expected. But that was at a position of need. So I think so far this Houston Texans have nailed free agency. Wasn't sexy like we thought. Very solid. We're going to break it down next, guys. So if you are new here to the channel, I drop daily Houston Texans content. Follow me at Twitter at 713HSP. Listen to me and my boys podcast. Type in Believe in the Houston Texans on Spotify. And without further ado, let's break down this free agency because it started with a trade. And Robert Woods, you are a Houston Texans. Now we are going to be needing a veteran in that wide receiver locker room, just because we will be trading Brandon Cooks, who quit on this Houston Texans team. Now, Robert Woods is coming off a 17-game season where he tore his ACL the year before that, so you're happy that he played a full season. Was the Tennessee Titans leading guy with 527 yards and 2 touchdowns and 43 catches, right? Definitely not a type of year where you say, yes, this is a number one, but that's okay. I don't see Robert Woods as a number one wide receiver or number 2 wide receiver on this Houston Texans team. Would it surprise me if he was? No, but this is a guy who is going to lead this young wide receiver core. We still have Nico Collins. We still have John Minchie, who we do not know where we're going to get. And you know the Houston Texans will be drafting a wide receiver early, so Robert Woods, a solid signing and can produce for this Houston Texans team. You then went out there and signed, well, the most obvious one was Jimmy Ward, right? This excites me right off the bat. This is the captain for this Houston Texans defense. As soon as D'Amico Ryans was hired, he was liking pictures of him in Texans uniform. He was liking videos of him talks about being signed to the Houston Texans. This was a no-brainer. It wasn't a matter of if Jimmy Ward was going to be a Houston Texans. It was going to be a matter of when. His play on the field, it is vicious. He is a heat-seeking missile. He is not afraid of anyone, right? If you miss that Bulls on parade that the Houston Texans had for a number of years, well, he is going to bring that back. He is a vocal leader. The 49ers offense and defense listen to Jimmy Ward. That is the type of player that you will be getting on Sundays, and someone who is very good in the locker room. Then the Houston Texans go out there and trade for Shaq Mason, and this was a surprising trade, right? Because I thought the Houston Texans were going to prioritize center, right? Garrett Bradbury, Bradley Bozeman, Jake Brendel. They all signed back with their respective teams. However, Shaq Mason, a top 10 guard in the NFL, one of the best run blocking guards in the league, only allowed 1 sack. This Houston Texans offensive line is getting beefed up. And when you are thinking about whoever's going to be back there at number 2, well, you know they are going to be protected because the Houston Texans are investing into their offensive line. I like Shaq Mason. Apparently, there's already a extension in the works, so that excites me for this offensive line. Sheldon Rankins, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you kind of had to overpay for. He was expected to get only $8 million, so you gave him $10.5 for 1 year. But this was the biggest need for the Houston Texans besides center. Opposing teams did not give a damn what you were doing on the defensive side. They were going to run up the gut and get 130 plus yards every single game. It was that bad for this Houston Texans defensive line. Sheldon Rankins fixes that. His past 2 years were with Robert Saleh, played very good. His best year was last year, PFF-wise, 73. So there is that 49ers connection. This is an immediate plug-in and play leader on this Houston Texans defensive line. He's going to be leading it alongside of Jerry Hughes. I'm excited now for this Houston Texans defensive line. And the last guy we're going to be talking about as one of my biggest impacts for this team, Case Keenum. Welcome back to the Houston Texans. I think this is his, 3rd stint now. He's going to finish his career where he started at U of H. I remember his game against the Indianapolis Colts where he and Andre Johnson went absolute crazy in the first half. This is the veteran for Bryce Young, the mentor for Bryce Young. So far, I think the Houston Texans have knocked this free agency out the park, and it only excites me for this draft and excites me for the rest of this year. You guys let me know what you think about the new potential starters for this Houston Texans team. As always, go Texans. Y'all have a very blessed day.